And now introducing the AP Literature Research Paper. One of the main requirements that people have for the AP Literature exam is the ability to not only understand and be able to write essays about the texts that we have read and the texts that are in front of them, but also to be able to kind of focus on the different literary eras and how different tools, techniques, and different things and all have actually been able to influence the writing of a piece and make it into what it is. So let's look at this prompt. It says, the AP Lit exam is a thorough understanding of the movements impacting the author's decisions within their work. Why did they write what they wrote? What inspired them? While it may appear stories are random convergence of imagination, the authors are controlled by the circumstances surrounding their lives. They write what they know. They write what they're thinking about what they know. Therefore, if we're going to capture fives, we have to understand how historical occurrences within the author's life impact their work. This includes things ranging from economics to history to politics, war, aspects of theology, love, science, etc., etc. There are multiple things that can fit within this. While I can certainly provide notes over all these elements, it really isn't going to matter all that much because I'm the one that creates the notes, you write them down, and that's about it. Instead, I'm going to have you do the research, learn about these things, and then write about them so that you become the master of the connections between the historical occurrences and the text itself. You are going to learn how to talk about these things, and you're going to demonstrate your mastery through writing 2 research papers each 6 weeks. Each 6 weeks, we'll analyze 2 books. They may be novels, dramas, collections of short stories, or collections of poems. I'll answer the book at the start of the 6 weeks. And let's be honest, we kind of already looked at it with a syllabus, but I'll talk a little more in depth about them at the start of each of the 6 weeks, and you can begin your task as soon as I discuss what it is I'm after. You'll complete the following. Research and identify 3 or 4 major influences, cultural, political, psychological, etc., that impacted the author and are used as tools to develop the works we're reading. Then, identify specific quotes from the text where it is clear the influencers are being used, and analyze the sections for incorporation of the influence, reason for the influence, and impact on the story overall. Then, properly document the sources when you locate your information, this being the research sources and all for the major movements, and then the research sources from within the text itself. Keep those quotes, keep the citation information for you to use as you're developing your paper. Your paper must include a minimum of 1 primary, so your book, and 3 secondary, 3 support sources. And you have to draft the paper over in 5 pages exactly. That's not including your works cited page. It will be MLA formatted, which I will go over a little bit closer to time for us to get started with the first paper. And it will be submitted for an evaluation as would be a standard college course paper. You're going to have to take your time to write this. It is not something you can do last minute. Plus, I'm going to make it so that websites like Wikipedia, Sparks Notes, Schmoop, and all of those little things, hear me now, they are not secondary sources. They can lead you to a secondary source, but they don't count because they are random convergences of random information. We're going to dig for good sources, and I will talk about those just before we start the first paper. Your papers are going to be submitted to me via Canvas by the last day of the 2nd week spent discussing the text. Lake work will be docked points corresponding to the rules of the secondary grading handbook, and zeros will be permanent after 2 days of no submission. Field trips, extracurricular activities, and the like are no reason to not submit your paper on time. Your deadline is before you do whatever will take you from class if you know you're going to miss. Be honest for submitting it electronically. You don't even have to physically be there. Hop on a computer and submit it. If you're sick, you'll be required to submit the work the day you return, penalty free. Otherwise, your points will be docked from the original due date. Additionally, research papers will be eligible for increased credit only if submitted with the required number of pages, sources, and influences. However, you only have 1 opportunity to submit your work, and it will not be for maximum credit. There will be a specific amount of points that I'm going to offer for the revisions, and I will decide those when I'm discussing each of those essays just before we jump into the new unit. This assignment is not optional. You have to do it if you're going to get your points and you're going to pass this course successfully. Finally, we're not going to work on these papers in class. And if you need school resources like computers to work on them, you're just going to have to make some time to make use of the libraries. Or you need some time with me so that I can get access to a laptop and come in before or after school to work on them. But these situations where you're going to work on them with me, I need to know in advance, at least a couple of days, so I can try to reserve the resources for us. So that's the research paper. More information coming when we get face-to-face, and that'll do it.